Good afternoon, everyone. Now we'll begin with the teaching. And before we begin the teachings, we are going to sing the song of Milarepa. So settle down and relax, and then we will start to sing the Song of Realization. And when you read it, if you read the phonetic English, if you could also look at the translation, that would be great, because you will get an idea of what's the meaning of the line, right? So we begin. The thick one, page number 41. When you do meditation and when you chant or recite a song of realization, it is very important to be calm and relax your mind. So this morning we have completed the empowerment of Milarepa. It's the empowerment of the Guru Sadhana. And now we will be talking about the songs of realization of Judge Milarepa, which is called the 8 ornaments of profound meaning. And we will go through it. So as we talked about the motivation this morning, wherever you are, or whatever you are doing, or whatever you're engaging in Dharma, the most important is to correct your intention, to have pure intention and motivation to listen to the teachings. And in the garland of precious garland by Nagarjuna Gopaludru, in his text he said that if you do whatever you're doing, if you're doing actions, if you're engaging in the actions without attachment, without hatred, and without ignorance or delusion, then whatever you're doing, your bodily action, or whether it's a mental action or it's a verbal action, it will give you the result of happiness. But because of you're doing the virtuous actions, and the result will be happiness. And then you will attain, or you will be born in the higher realms. In this world, in this life, you will have happy life, and in the next life, you will be born in higher realms, like God's realms and demigods realms and so forth.
I'm a given level. Don't have this. And it said the land, the country, said the land, don't have the common language. There was some other Nagola so there were the use in the end. We don't have a giver, you know, but Jello, don't have a gift. But we don't know when the town by you know. It be there, Mageva, Mageva, that don't have a duty. What happens so good?
And as well as if you engage in the activities and actions with attachment, hatred, and delusion or defilements, then the result would be suffering. So not only in this lifetime you will have unhappy and worry and suffering in this world, but also in the future life you will be born in the lower realms, like realms in the hell realms and so forth.
Some need to come on up to Bali, some take a look at the bucket. But that didn't look, and don't have to be task.
So there's a song in Tibet. It is the lyrics of the song. Lyrics of the song is something like, "If you have a pure heart, a good heart, then even if you sing a song, that would be great. Because even if you have an evil mind or negative thoughts, and even if you're reciting a mantra or reciting a mani, then that would be not good."
And hands of one give a government. Ramanyante, Ramambote, kitchen body, Ramambot and Yunobote, kitchen body. They legend, Kichi, Chu Yang Tapachi. And if we say that them as in kitchen body.
So when we do or when we practice, it's of course it's important to do many times. We have to understand how many times do you practice, and also how long did you practice. That's also important. But the more important is the way in which you practice, the motivation, the pure motivation, and in order to become the Dharma perfect, pure Dharma. So the way in which you practice with the pure motivation is better than how much times or how long you have been practicing. This is because if you take a lot of time to do practice, or you are doing for many times or again, then if the result would be not a good one, then that's a little bit of wasting your time. So if you are doing a little bit, you're taking a little bit of time, and then you're doing it pure, perfect, in a perfect way, within a short time, you will gain big results. And that means transformation of your mind. For example, if you're transforming your mind, you can do a little bit, and then you can transform your negative mind into positive. That you can do it in a short time. But if you're taking too long, you have been practicing, but you're not practicing according to not practicing skillfully, then the development of improvement of the transformation of the mind will not occur or rise. And the great yogi Milarepa, Milarepa was advanced in Tibet in the 11th century.
근데 이제 제 제도는 아니 이제 저거 탑수는 되지. 나는 이제 뭐 저도 친구들.
And he was a great meditation master and Mahasiddha, what we call, because he's exemplary for all of us as a practitioner. We can follow his footsteps. We can follow his teachings and his practices because he is the exemplary for all of us, and he is the pure and perfect Dharma practitioner who have attained enlightenment in one lifetime.
그러나 니마께는 공부하면 레바 시바 오케이. 제든지 난다고 계획을 접하신 것 때문에 근데 남는 포스터가 자다 다 단계를 산타도 주토바 근데 사제지 뭐그 또 뭔지 좀 그 주택지 뭐 자야 돼 근데 진짜 하면 근데 그 산계 산주 선바 이하는 라마 로진 참도 강그 쪽바디 진지제 많이나 이제 센들 또 뭐도 내가 그 체인지 차 또 말이지 에너지 그게 너무한데 산지에다 산주서 관계 쪽바디 이슈
In Milarepa's biography, there is a story that one of his disciples, his name is Rinpoche, and he asked this to the Lord, the teacher Milarepa, asking about by seeing his miraculous powers or the realizations of flying in the sky and leaping and traversing in the rocky mountains and so forth. So by seeing this, he asked this question to Milarepa about what was in your previous life. Were you a Buddha or a Bodhisattva, or what is your emanation? What were you in the previous life?
그때 지금 말하려고 그때 제가 로가리 가르치나 그때 출라 이 맞지가 이 이치면 같은 때문에 로가리 근데 공 네 근데 산대에다 산주서 막 가면 되게 주방 말에 공 담보 맞고 제대로 있습니다. 공 춘드네 지금 막 말하려 만나자고 하고 그래 춘드에 강한 망고 전체 이 공도 아마티 다 레반나지 근데 털라네 공기도 공 마음에 깔려있으니까 뭐다 순수 성공해서 세팅하고 터져 이 공 담보 맞고 제대로 근데 좀만은 근데 더봐라 나밀라 쫙 근데 더봐는 게 받지 근데 라마 저저 마바 라마 양가가 띠 인지 취 담아서 쉬 근데 대가 존주 잡고 그냥 저 라마 이바인데 근데 공기 따다 줄을 여밖에 연대다 그렇게 되는 게 존주다 연대다 또 받아서去养大把经验是让我们对去跟人把的毛豆，那空干那跟人把买送。
And then Milarepa replied to Shiva, Rinpoche Shiva. He said that this is your distorted view, your distorted view of thinking, or the view that is kind of wrong view of thinking about I'm a reincarnation of some Buddhas or Bodhisattvas, or I'm manifestation of something. So that's totally your wrong way of thinking, because I'm not like that. I'm not such a person like that. I am one who has committed so many negative and unwholesome deeds during the period of my tender age, young age, and then after that, because according to his mother's recommendation, his mother's guidance, he went to learn sorceries, right? The black magic type of sorceries, and he also spelled, and he killed around 35 horses and people. And because he was afraid of his ripening fruition of the karma that he has committed evil deeds, therefore he regretted it, and then he regretted it, and then he relied on great masters like Nov4, and then through his exertion, through his perseverance, he received all the instructions and practices, and therefore he attained or he achieved all these results of having good qualities, result of attaining miraculous powers, special realizations. All these are because of the power of the Dharma, not because of the power of someone else, that I'm the reincarnation or manifestation of someone else in my past life. It's not like that, but it's because of the power of the Dharma.
어떻게 뭐말이에요? 산재계는 공부 때문에人不做，人不做，老板不去做种的，对，就是산재계嘛，去年这个人长的这个有嘛的，公募的这个有嘛的，没人让没得的这个有嘛的，计划的意思，做的去干啥去？去年是那玩意没用的。你得觉得，你去的是哪么结果？得觉得你去不看到的，得了点刚才的，你得是他们的，他不可能，他真的用的是，这里算的。
So what just Milarepa's reply was totally true, because Buddha himself said that when you do practice, it's irrespective of caste and creed, irrespective of dharma, or irrespective of gender. You can, if you have that kind of interest, enthusiasm, if you have exertion to practice dharma, then you can do it. And it's not because you're from some good lineage or family, or it's nothing like that, because the most important thing is to not the caste and creed, but it's the practice itself. The training itself is the most important. In order to practice, if you practice it properly and correctly, then you will have the result. You will achieve the liberation of moksha, or you will achieve the enlightenment, the Buddhahood.
就是没那个办到这呢，韩国人呢，我们没读过这个的，没得甚至上圣经，通常没得甚至上的发现，没经圣经，没哪一点哦，没你记，没毕竟的，那也那样，的话你就把见呢，可能到那么样找到那么流行的，可能得去了那就台湾的迷信，那。可能去了就在那么就说学，可能在这个尊重不光的搞个节，你要做那么的，可能有点节了，他这不是节了，可能没的经济当中节，可能常见的就头发，常见头发的，那专门用着我们会有头发的，但就是那个的，人的这个，然后自己去中平了，罗纳。了切不了嘛的，罗切中的切不了嘛的，人上的我们就切中，对，个当过没上过年吧，切不了嘛，上嘛的，那时候刚才去，你要说那玩意，刚才这里就去什么的，去给拼图，去给draw图吧，去个让运动图吧，我他得差不多得去个过行，去个没办法，去个行了。还是本来不让那么就有呢，没岁数呢看那么跳的人，看那么跳的人，在上天呢跳不到，没得就刚那这样的人同你这样的，就这种的，老那这种的，人同忙的，看也跳不了，都那么就岁数呢那么跳的，在哪里去的你看的，所以娘什么？所以代表是，所以一起这样，刚才对了，挺多，刚才对有可能的意思。
And as we talked about Milarepa's life story, as he was an evil person, actually, because he committed evil deeds like killing around 35 horses and people, right? So nowadays, even if you kill one person, you're the criminal. So that was not easy for him, but still, he, regretted with regret, and he also relied on Lama masters, and then his austerity, his exertion, that because of that his exertion, he attained enlightenment within this life, in one body and one life, that what we call. And then he is recognized as the great yogi of Tibet, irrespective of all schools of Tibetan Buddhism. He's well known without having any disputes. He is the great yogi, the exemplary for all of us. So therefore, that's because of the power of Dharma. That is because of the inspiration of the blessing of Dharma. And it doesn't matter whether you are young or old. It doesn't matter whether you are rich or poor. You can taste the taste of Dharma and experience the taste of Dharma every day in your life. And that is the power of the Dharma. Just like when you taste brown sugar, and then everyone can taste brown sugar and it's sweet. Everyone can feel the sweetness, right? If you can taste the sweetness. It's same as the Dharma is something that everyone can taste and everyone can experience it. The equalness of all of the sentient beings are same in terms of practicing Dharma. There is a reason, but not only just we are talking, but there is a reason behind it, because in Buddhist tradition we believe in the Buddha nature, the Buddha essence, the Tathagata. So all of us, within us, we have that Tathagata or Sugata, the Buddha nature. All of us are same and equal, and we all have that kind of innate, goodness. So the innate or basic goodness within us. So in terms of the Tathagata or the Buddha nature, it's all sentient beings have the Tathagata. Even if the Buddha himself, the mind stream, the mental continuum of the Buddha and the mental continuum of sentient beings are the same in terms of its essence, in terms of its nature of the mind. All same and equal in terms of Tathagata or the Buddha nature, that we all sentient beings have that. That is the cause, what we call gu, as the cause to achieve enlightenment, which is the Tathagata or the Buddha nature. And when we talk about the Buddha nature, the Tathagata, Buddha nature means the mind, the very ordinary mind that we have right now. The mind that we all have, which is in nature, innately and nakedly, it is pure, which is what we call the Dharmata, which means the expanse of Dharma, which means the pure, the very essence, the pure nature of our mind, intrinsic nature of our mind. This is called the Dharmata, which is the reality. And then that we all have. So that mind is being free from all these impurities, all these stains or and all these defilements. So therefore, it is spontaneously present. So therefore, it is free from all affective emotions and thoughts, and free from all obscurations. Therefore, this is naturally, innately, is luminosity, clear. So therefore, this is what we call the Tathagata God, or the essence of the Buddha, or the Buddha nature.
And then, Sanjini, Munja over the Jama Tessa Sanjini song, then Senji, Senji numbers, Senji in the Chuni, Anje is. That's Senji Sanji in a Tadaman of Garrison for one troll, for the Tiga Monteta, Nimonda, the Domana, so far. Until the road to the road to Domata of Canadian various. Not there. Nelo de Sanjay days. Yena young, there no machine, then lower Jamas in the dancing, dancing, in the true about the number. What are the over depths of this? Simply said the tailor of this. But then it Jamat deserts in the data dancing the new about and true about the number of the set by enough. Jamat desert Sanjay news in the for Sanjay is. Sanjay and Senki say a day. In Tumbani, and Sentinel Tumbani, eh? Senji, Senji Ranjite, Tomato, what teacher is Sanjay the Senki in the Tati Michi, Mado Rangi, Chuni, the what you say. Manso couple over and had it teaching.
So it's very important to know that the very essence nature of our mind is same as what we have and what Buddha had, or what Buddha had, not something that Buddha had achieved newly, but is there from previous time. So, for example, it's said in the Tantra text, Tantra treatise called Two Segments. It is said that all sentient beings are Buddha, actually. The only thing is that we cannot recognize the true nature of our mind, and it has been covered or obscured by adventitious things, adventitious defilements. If you remove that adventitious defilement or contaminations or stains, then it's luminosity, it's pure, like the Buddha. So that's the only difference. Other than that, all are equal in terms of having the Tathagata God or Buddha nature. Because of that defilements that is covered our mind, nature mind, because of we all have this kind of self-grasping, self-fixation, and we have all kind of self-centeredness, self-cherishing, and because of our illusions, we have confusions. Those are the defilements. If you remove all of this that has been covered by these defilements, then the true nature will appear. So that is the Tathagata God.
What bit Asian does? I don't think it can be the taking of the year is. In that taking what the mood and your Sanjay to Judy is. And there was Sanjay Thomas about the King Shanka down, the Chulu down, Trojella Sopa, Javachi was born Anji, and an answer and then taking the machine, and it then sit down, and it chew, and but I didn't read Eugene the sort of then just Sanjay the thing and then there were not which is subtle Lama Sirambe, Yakin, then there was Sanjay to talk to the then answer the number of the day. So, no one knows that they know they see what she in the kitchen.
For example, to give an example about seed that we plant. For example, it's the seed of rice. If or any kind of flower, the seed, if you plant that seed, then you will need to protect the seed in order to have the perfect proper conditions For example, you need sunlight, you need water, you have to water it in order to get the fruition, right? So you need all these causes and conditions in order to get the fruition or to get the fruit or the crops, for example. And similarly, we all have that Buddha nature. So it is not manifesting. So we have to, in order to actualize, in order to manifest that Buddha nature within us, we need all these causes and conditions. The first thing, for example, the conditions of meeting with the perfect teacher or guru in order to introduce the Buddha nature and give you the instructions and teachings and so forth. So through that way, we can travel on the path to enlightenment by the 10 bhumis, 10 levels, and 5 paths through which we can attain the enlightenment. Therefore, all sentient beings can attain enlightenment because one of the big reasons, main reason, is that we all have that Buddha nature within us. And another example would be Rinpoche, who was in Arizona, and when he traveled to England, and he met a small girl, and he discussed with that girl. There were a young girl, actually. It's not a child or something like that, but it's a young age girl, and she was talking about all these great Mahamudra teachings and great perfection teachings and so forth that she has been reading many books and meditating as well. And then she was not a Buddhist, like a formal Buddhist. You enter into the Buddhist tradition to take refuge and so forth, not like that. But she likes to read. She likes to read and understand. She likes the experience and realization of what those great Dzogchen and Chakchen masters have experienced. She was too much into it, interest to read more and more. And then after that, she also had some kind of realization, understanding the real nature of the mind is something like that. She understood that, even though she's not a Buddhist. And that's what Garchen Rinpoche told me, that maybe she realized that the true nature of the mind. So even if you read these great masters' teachings and texts, and you can, through skillful means and methods, we all have that kind of Buddha nature within us. Only thing is that we have to eliminate the defilement, and through a correct method and through correct meditation, and so that through that way, this is something that I think it's possible too for all of us. It's possible because what we have, the main cause of the enlightenment is within us. It's not something that we can make it right now, or we can find it from external world. We cannot. It's within us. So that's something that I think is possible too.
Zimbabwe, and some of those are and it's a siege about the new member. That's some Jimmy Dow, top of the then Zonde, then you go come and in this Chera, come on never. Chido calendar chain by Ranjinki, Sen Shawak, Ma Tendo and all. What that indicate Chavan those con the Shusha, and the Congress and the Never Boshas. But didn't better cut, you see, caress and the Pension. Simply some good jailer. Sentinel of the Tindy is. Sentin and Sanjay say at them. And it that tomato, motto on the tornado. The trouble at the Denver Zay and the end of the yes. Chadam Musonki, and it dilemma gave us up. The name of Gavaki, send the Yoda Mongocha, and it gave us some other on the kid. The Mongo story that it. Send the nail of toss my bayana, and then Nando. That's it. Then they talk about Chanako, and he could draw about. But that indeed, the duty in Yongyado there, or send it tangible, and send the nail of the India of the duty is. But that in it was now the duty.
So that young girl, she has been meditating, and she has been meditating over again and again, continuously, without any interruption. And finally, one day she realized that there's something that cannot be explained. That what she experienced was something very spontaneous, effortless. And then at that time, what we call usually is inexpressible. In beyond our words and so forth. So something like that experience that she had, and this was what we usually call stokbul. When you have some kind of this experience or realization that you can, go to see your guru, to meet your guru and ask or tell what you have experienced. That's called stokbul. So at that time, she explained all this to Gachen Rinpoche, and Gachen Rinpoche thinks she might have realized the true nature of mind. And so why I'm giving this example, because we all have that it's possible for all of us, right? So that's why I'm giving this example. It's only that whether you recognize it or not, whether you know or identify, or whether you realize it or not. So that's the only thing, because we usually we are under the power or influence of confusion, right? Illusions in this world, and then we have all this thinking of something that truly exists, and thinking that something you're fixating on a particular external things and so forth because of the confusions. So, but it's only that whether you recognize it or not. So therefore, this is a little bit of introduction before we begin the teaching.
Deni mato, winter time tour, Deni to on a balance and tour, sitting the sono. Send the Nelope Mato by Bayena, then not you a cap of Kandati in a winter time out in Bayena. Oh, Turgidis. That send the Nelo to me toyan. Then send the Nelo the to by Bayena, then a top of young gun. 근데 가야 매번 바람자라고 돼 있는 현재 내로도 또 봐야는 아니 저거지 좀 뭐. 어떻게 그리고 나도 되지 맞아 대박도 보내 파시에 잡아먹는 거 누구 샘데 내로데 생기 단계를 되다 뭐는 누구 내로도 근데 저때 라인데 또 말을 있잖아 근데 저를 세서 분위기를 들어가고
It is said that even if a great master like Panditas, right, great learned masters, if he or she doesn't recognize this very true nature of our mind, and he is confused, and even if like ignorant people, or for example a shepherd or maybe a herdman, who doesn't know nothing about all these great words or these realizations, but even if this shepherd or herdman can be liberated, if you understand, if you recognize this very true nature of mind. So that's the difference, because difference between confusion or delusion and liberation. If you do not recognize, then you are in confusion. If you recognize it, once you recognize it, then you will be liberated.
Chitang Jitamaka, Gorte, Gurmums in Gor Drama, Mambuchi, then Gor Mambuchi, then forward and Kanomananti, then Kaku, which encompass all the yard in time. But other Nirla, Gurmums in a Pilisuna, the town bombed out it in the Mambuchi, your money. That other end in Marathon Gumbum, not that the Mitan, one more your body. That dinner and also March here.
So today's session, the afternoon session, the teachings on the 8 ornaments, is one of the songs of realizations from the 100,000 songs of Milarepa. So there are so many, numerous songs of Milarepa, but it is said that many of those songs have been carried or have been brought to the pure field in the heaven by those dakinis and so forth. But we see 100,000 songs, but not exactly 100,000 numbers, but there are many songs that we can read. And today's topic is on the 8 ornaments of the profound meaning.
The word last chores in roll last chores in that the Milarepa so the Tadana Chomolama walk the Tanisa, Lachi Kandra, in Gordosun.
So the place where he sang this song of realization was in Nachi. It's a great meditation cave where Milarepa spent many times. So it's just near to the Mount Kailash, where he sang this song of realization. And there are many fortresses or caves of Milarepa. So one of the caves is called the Ramding Sky Cave. So at that fortress or cave, he sang this song. And the time or the day is in the 11th century. So among these many disciples in this song when Jetsunur was with along with the Rinpoche and one of his main disciple, and also Rinpoche is another disciple. At that time, Rinpoche and a few other disciples, they are staying at that rounded cave. And Rinpoche and Rinpoche had much discussion about the view of meditation of Naropa and Milarepa at that time. And then at that the Jetsunur then sang this song, and then he said, "Listen to this song and then continue your discussion." You can have the 2-page 3-sheet one. It starts with what delight being free of conventional terms is so joyful. The kind Lord Guru sits at my crown. Realization inseparable from his continually dawns in my mind. So the first line, as you can see, what delight, what happiness, what joy. That means he already realized the true nature of mind. So therefore, true nature of the mind here means having realized the state of Mahamudra. So therefore, he is always joyful, always delighted, always delight. So because it's free of conventional terms. So conventional terms here means in the conventional level, we all are being influenced, empowered by confusions, discursive thoughts, and clinging or grasping on truly existent things and so forth. All these are what is here the panye, which means conventional terms. So free from conventional terms. That's why it's so joyful. It's very happy. What a delight. That's how he expresses his experience and realization. So the self-grasping and all the afflictive emotions and thoughts, those are what we call the bondage that binds us. So we have to release that binding or bondage. In order to release that bondage, we have to understand the nature of mind. And that's why how we pacify, how we liberate from this world. And through that way, once you understand, once you eliminate this self-grasping and the dual appearances, then you will gain boundless and inconceivable qualities and benefits. So even if we don't have that kind of realization like just in Milarepa, but still we can practice. We can put effort in practice. Still we can also build or develop faith in the Dharma and practice it and meditate in your daily life. Then through the practice of your meditation and through the practice of through the development of faith in the Dharma, that can kind of that can be remedy, or that can be antidote to lessen, to decrease the level of grasping on self, fixating on self, or self-grasping, and that can also remedy the discursive thoughts. That discursive thoughts can be decreased through a practice of the Dharma. And once the discursive thoughts, the dual appearances, and the self-graspings will gradually decrease, then there will be a state of mind which is calm and peace in your mind. So that kind of calm and peaceful mind can be developed through decreasing the self-grasping and all the confusions and illusions. So this is something actual reality that we all can see. So therefore, when you decrease the level of the self-grasping or self-centeredness, then all the other afflictive emotions, kleshas, and sufferings will be decreased. If you have a lot of self-grasping, self-centeredness, then the afflictive emotions and thoughts and sufferings will be great. And then if you have a medium or middling level of the self-grasping, then your afflictive emotions and sufferings will be in medium or middling. And if you have a very less small, minor self-grasping, then your afflictive emotions and suffering will be very less.
근데 특히 동화라다 이바 탐책의 용에 단전의 방화세 봐라. 다 단전의 시작이 동양이 근데 단전의 미인의 때문에 다 단전의 간을 방법을 있으면 그런게 지금 법양세 취향이세 근데 제 선전으로 남이 또 시작돼 유지와 인바이는 단전 침부터서 막 총어도 총어도 안에 제 다음에 반이도 빵도가 그것도 된데서 들어보고 되는데 그 제단도 냠슬라와 인바이나 건 가세지 잡아 인바이나 대점이 되는 아무소리 지금 선의 시와도 되어서 두거리 어떻게 숨을 찾는 거지.
So, in order to abandon, in order to eliminate the self-grasping, to remove or eliminate self-grasping, we cannot do it at the hospital to do surgery or something like that. To apply medications, we cannot do that. The only thing that we can apply is meditation. Only thing that we can apply is to practice and transform your mind to meditate. So for that, we can achieve what we call the wisdom of selflessness. So through the wisdom of selflessness, we can understand we can eliminate the self-grasping attitude.
이제 진실을 아마 좀은 저 있으면 딱 됐다고 또 봐도 유대 개월 세발라 근데 라마 개월 시는 근데 다 라마가 요즘 말한다고 네 지금니까 라마 또 봐 주디는 라마도 소다 또 왔다 모르지 어떤 된지 세바인바이나 되니 죄라 하나람 남저 꾸암드는 소만이 근데 지 라마 공마쳐서 기 주발라마도 소기 생각도 똑같다 담대 교대 제행을 해서 되게 제행부터 남주인 근데 다 라마 신이들 된바 땡 그다음에 담마셔야 그다음에 소라타에 무르지야 그다음에 소고거리요.
And then the next line is the kind Guru, Lord Guru sits at my crown. So this means in order to understand, understand or attain that kind of that level of realization, then we need to rely on a Guru. So therefore here it says the kind Lord Guru, and we have to make supplications to our teacher Guru, and we have to cultivate devotion to our Guru. And then we also make supplications to receive the blessings of all the lineage masters.
인지 아니 선들면 그 뒤로 또 봐인바이나 더미게 또 봤으니까 더와메가 또 봤기 나는 그 선지라 더와메가 또 봐인바 유를 샤와인바이나 근데 다 선데 니몬당 동마르당 그 딜리원도 마셔와 선데 지다다 같이 선데네로 냠다 또 봤기 연디 뭐다 된지도 봤지 작은 일이지.
And then after that, the realization inseparable from his continually dawns in my mind, which means that you're inseparable from the realization of the true nature of mind. And that will occur, that will appear in your mind stream. So therefore here it says that will occur at the same time all the realizations and good qualities of the Guru also will attain, or you will have, or you will receive all these qualities and realizations, just like your Guru. And the next one is you two teacher meditators who engage in analysis. If your words don't come from your inner understanding, you're just making noise and inflating your pride.
去你这把就够的，你这马家吧应该呢，可能去马子，去别的马家呢，可能去忙不这些对吧？应该那样，那这个就当，可能那这马家这当马多吧给，可能有的主要这个马的，那有的主要当，牛毛吧帮呀当，可能就当这个真正的说马帮我了，第年不去的，你说这个有的家人样是那种的。
And in this verse, it's talking about you have to intermingle or mix your mind and the Dharma that you're practicing inseparably. So, because he's talking to his disciples, you have to you have to listen to the teachings, but at the same time, it's not only listening, but you have to take that teachings within you. You have to apply that into practice. So that is how you intermingle the Dharma and the mind together. And then once your Dharma is practiced and it trains your mind, and then you will have the true realization or the recognition of the true nature of mind. But if you don't have that, then it's just making noise, or it's just to increase the level of pride.
다 류시 탐제가 나는 저도 저봐도 마다보 공발이 손 마다바데 공발 대응 좀 손에 나 얘는 마다바세 카페 시바장다 마다바지 인사리 상에 보여라지 괜히 샤와장 가랑 그 유일 핑포 보는다 근데 좀 마다바라고 제 유일 제도 나 마다바데 유일 제도 봐이나 근데 마다바지 펜요 다 뒤에 제도 불러도 근데 취도 유일 제
So therefore, the Dharma, to practice Dharma is only to habituate, to familiarize with the Dharma and to try to put it into practice, practice. And it is said that we usually talk about impermanence, and impermanence is very important in Buddhist tradition. And then you talk about impermanence, but it is said that the biggest footprint of animal is the elephants and elephant's footprint. And then the biggest and most greatest benefit of thinking about something is the impermanence. To think about the impermanence is the biggest benefit for us. So, but if you think about it, if you listen to the teachings about impermanence, it's not enough because it has to be practiced. It has to be applied in our day-to-day life. You have to take it into the practicality. So that's more important. Therefore, at the very first of the four seals of Buddha's Dharma, 4 seals of view, or you can see 4 aphorisms. The very first one is the impermanence, because it said all the compounded phenomena are impermanence. And the second one is all the contaminated things are suffering. And all the phenomena of existence are empty and selfishness. And final one is the nirvana, is the true peace.
요즘 Milarepa 다 미토바나 신여바 잠지 팬여 말이지 신의 산에 또바 시고를 송도 그때는 이제 나서 이제去시바장다去여바 장에 나서 핑포요 또 가리고去的냐서는 유일 자 라들은 거그레스 그때는 송도
The Milarepa also said that if there is a hungry person, then it's not only okay that he has food to eat, right? If he's hungry, so you have to eat it first in order to, in order to solve the problem. So just similarly, you can listen or receive many teachings, but the important thing is to apply that to practice, which is more important.
他去的，宋小把苍茫昂说的娘子林他不买，连娘子林他把也买呢，他昂说三地的，三地去苍茫娘子林，他爷那样，他昂说的啊，这都是，啊，去谁呀？这个娘子林在用吧他，那南军整齐的话有个定的，那有一个家，超完的冲的，那去的娘子林，把他那个给送来的。
And there are innumerable types and categorizations of the teachings taught by the Buddha. So we cannot practice all of those teachings, but we can do as much as we can. And through applying your mindfulness and introspection, mental alertness, as well as through careful and heedfulness, you can apply all these teachings, however, on whatever level you are, as much as you can.
That in a gene jacob, that more tower the point in somebody. That the Drondo Nan Chubala, Tadr Tower, Mazeran. Longer than the Vagin the Chase, a gene jacob on the Tambo, and tower of the court. What that is somebody.
So the 8 ornaments, from 8 ornaments, the first one is it says cutting imputations or interpolations from within. Is that not called view free of extremes? Using scripture and reasoning is a great ornament to that. But this one is the first ornament on view.
Okay, now 去年子人把个干了，可能他到啊，光吧，绝吧，这不行了，他就是吧，那么热。 Drum jump with sugar on the top, and now you can
all the practices of Dharma or Buddhist tradition or Buddhist teachings can be subsumed into these view, meditation, and conduct.
The
first one is the view. It's more like a philosophical view. It's a philosophical view in terms of we talk about the view, we have to think about the philosophical view. So philosophical view, so view in terms of in this context, you can understand in terms of view, tawa, which means the perfect view of the world is the one. The other one is the view of Mahamudra, for example, which is the about the meditation, the view of meditation. The perfect view of the world is such as, for example, that we all have this confidence in the causality, the cause and effect, and we all have faith in the 3 jewels, and we also all believe in the rebirth or the rebirth in the next life. But in this context, right now, we are talking about the view in terms of the second one, which is meditation, or is on the practice of meditation, how to apply the teachings into meditation. So this is the philosophical view, for example, like the view of the middle way school, view of the mind-only school, Chittamatra, Madhyamika, and also view of the Mahamudra, and view of the great perfection. So all these types of view, what we're talking about right now is the view that we are talking in terms of the meditation, the view of meditation.
네, 일단 니는 따와서 나도 곰 사자지 뭐 너무 여러. 네, 그 곰사 그 내로 따와대. 네, 니가 그거 어쩌래. 딱 따와서 되는 시에요. 네, 나와서 이제 곰 약을 내가. 근데 곰사 그 지요. 지가 또 따와서 되는 소리.
So here you can think like the object of meditation. When you do meditation, there is an object of meditation. So the object of meditation, which is the ultimate nature, which is the view of the ultimate nature, and ascertaining the ultimate nature of the view, if you have that kind of mental or mindset, so that is called the view in terms of meditation.
그러니까 이제 정답이 이 시담을 말하고 뭐 어디 여바리니까 나도 고대로 신 나도 이제 냠스면서 요 아니 대 또봐 다 대를 따와서 되는 것이 있는데
So there are many assertions and explanations in terms of they're talking about all this ultimate nature of the view according to different schools. But in order to make it a little bit of simpler, we can think about the object of meditation or object of practice is called the view in this context.
엄마 그 엄마 자와 시가 보면 somebody 얘기 요지사 따버다 메지사와 제버다 대서 요다 내가 케벤 내가 맞아오 생각 야는 나도 여바 됐다대 진대야대 따버는 좀 맞을 거예요. 야는 지금 누구 가양 매바지 이제 따대와대 야 빠지 이거는 제버다 엄마 따와서 이제 여미다 되네 여미 미멜라다 젠가 라소바다 다 이제 주바당 자와 이 이제 동대는 엄마가 따와 소문을 했어 요다 내가 에벤에 ಬಂದ자오 여미가 다 단계를 잡아도 엄마가 따와 소문을
And for example, if we give example of the middle way school, Madhyamika. So Madhyamika or the middle way is defined as free from all extremes. For example, the four types of experience, free from all the birth and cessation, and free from all the four extremes, which is free from all the fabrications or mental constructs. That is called the middle way school. So you're not falling into the eternalism, and you're also not falling into the nihilism. So in between, the central, the middle, which is called the middle way, free from all this birth, cessation, and so forth, and free from all the four extremes and all the mental fabrications.
그는 엄마가 실신라 소복을 깜네 아무도 서로 그 열 대답한 뒤에 때는 판 열진내로 딱 정보가 감쪽에 진지 중이라 소복을 서로 그 주가적으로 대답한 뒤에 근데 덴바마도 보통 많이 때는 판 따와 드리는 때는 법이다
And in the perfection of wisdom, all the views of the lineage is established in terms of in terms of the object itself. When we look at the object, for example, object here means the aggregates, like 5 aggregates, the 18 constituents and elements, and we have the 12 source perceptions. All those are free from truly existence, which means emptiness. So this is how they explain the way in which how the objects, external objects are exist.
And 다 서로 정도도 줘야 돼. 다음에 뭐 강연으로 와도 누구네로 여반이 더 나와 이마에는 다 누구네로 去有个嘛哟，这样子热闹，你都不能买。yang去谈这这样没法东北人真把人把人呢，yang我们那路的这样没法的这样嘛，这样的啊，过完的吧的话，有把人把的过完的，这样的是原米，他现在给ani撞到的时候，ani tambo，我马拉说把干，有个等于撞到的就呢，ani那路东北人定了他，这那路东北人一同的，ani 讲。
So in the middle way school, the practice is mainly focused on emptiness, right? Emptiness here means the middle way. And here it's talking about the existence and non-existence. What something that exists or not is something that does not exist. So, for example, if you talk about the existence of something, then if you say it exists something that would become kind of interpolation, that would become imputations. And if you see there's something that doesn't exist, then that means there's nothing. So nothing means you're just disparaging the Dharma. So between these two, you have to cut these interpolations and disparage exaggerations. And that is what we call the middle way, which is the mainly practice of emptiness. So this, in this context, so from the middle way school, they talk about only you have to cut the imputations from outside, the external things, right? But here, Milarepa is talking about cutting imputations from within, not from outside. So therefore, it says cutting imputations or interpolations from within. So you have to cut the imputations and then you have to establish the true nature of mind. So right now, in our mind, there are many thoughts. Those thoughts are called the dualistic thoughts, and we have many. We have also this kind of self-grasping and grasping at the true existence of things. All this we all have in our minds. Those are not the reality, the true nature of our mind. Those are the interpolations or the implications that needs to be cut. So here Milarepa is saying that you cannot cut the implications from outside, but first you have to establish, identify or understand the mind, and then you can cut through all the interpolations from within. So that is one of the main teachings or instructions of Mahamudra, that if you understand, if you realize the true nature of the mind, then you can understand all phenomena.
Logoris. Tawadis.
So here, this is the view that talking about you have to cut this imputation from within, and because once you cut the imputations from within in your mind, then you can cut through all other imputations and explanations of all phenomena, and then through that way you can eliminate the root of all the self-graspings and innumerable discursive thoughts that we have. We always have innumerable discursive thoughts. And one thing can be the antidote to eliminate all these negativities, all these afflictions, which is to cut this imputation from within.
Sachin Gangam, this one. Up in the Juchin Chimu, taken from Lanka, the Yavan, Juchin Chimu, they never go there. What did they Yaga, they Roma, they talk them with the 52 Mamu go ahead. Goga Yaga Roma, they talk the 152 Mamu. That time I am by Juchin take a Sawan party, Shawan by Yana. Then it is Yaga the Londa, Sama Nima come to the release. I'm never trying to go. The agent. Manzo which Montam, Namtotan, Truba, York, they didn't the pound of one affair. Good same about one two mouth. Market dancing, market, Namtotan, Truba, York, someone never covers them. But they go much. Now on a category, some day that don't know yet. Some could nail of the thing that top. Then some could don't they nail of the thought of Mayana. Then Namto, new mobile Sanjay, the new mobile jetty jet on his own. Down my body. Not all the town ever yet. That's also zero at that. Getting to the one. Also, give some of our not all consider, no consider. But they didn't pump one thing. Is down is then pump told my spun going. Some people that dancing the mapam, dame about the Nello, company, send the Nello the thought of Bayana. Then you tangy, drought over days. Then not all tangy draw. New mobile can get a draw. There is Tadan which is doing more than using prepared on such a Kangan and Somanaji. They challenge your ways. Then the don't know the true in song.
So, in terms of the afflictive emotions and thoughts that we have, it's innumerable, it's countless. We cannot, eliminate all of them at once, because Buddha has taught 84,000 afflictive emotion thoughts. Each of them have their own remedies and antidotes. So what we need to do is we need to think about where these afflictive emotions and thoughts are coming from, and we need to cut that root. Just like, for example, in the Mahamudra, Ganges of Mahamudra, it is said that a tree spreads its branches and leaves. So if it's just useless if you cut each of the leaves and the branches, right? So, but what we need to do is cut the root, and all other thousands of branches maybe will wither. So likewise, cut the root of our mind, and the leaves of samsara wither. So that's what is taught in the Ganges of Mahamudra. So you can apply that teachings in order to eliminate all the afflictive emotions and thoughts.
The child she down the nothing the child the Yursama, Mebazum, the Japan, the California. But it corrected children in the young Zubda Zalas of the child, some of my body, the southern Dosa in some. Control now in the control Java, the your summer Mebazoyam. So, on a caribous in the same day, the way of war, the job. The Japan, Kungo one the Mahara, send the dates of thought of Imayam. So, the Jateva the York, Kungo Java the York doesn't make us go.
For example, if we want to cut or we want to eliminate the attachment, so if we find this object of attachment outside, then it's innumerable. We cannot find all the objects of attachment. We have so many objects of attachment and desire, right? So we cannot eliminate that. But what we need to do is we have to think within. We have to think our mind, and we have to train it. We have to control our mind. So if we're training and controlling our mind, we can eliminate and decrease the attachment greatly. this is the same as true. Also, you can apply this to other afflictive emotions such as anger as well.
그는 준주 부서가 레벨은 구성이와 다 사된 다 고요 같은 데니 고에 가르노 람터 산지 고에 된 사된 거다 요다 다 슬로건 로그 대통 말에서 사단 도다 데니데 야소 메용바 너바조 메용바 조금도 텐도 난 조사가 사자 상마다 딘텐도 신데 텐토그라 텐토그마 텐토 나 얘나 함이야 호호데 공샤바이바이나 서로 가와를 손해야 되다 깜발을 천명 소야 너 도단 데니데 너바조 도는데 데니데 있다 공포야 소소 그 공포된 영토바이바이나 사실 공포 지역에 요때 매바조 타고 말하다 자원이 매바조 공포 세한테 마치사 밀제가 뭐도 엄마들 제 보고들 제 자상들 제 도보들 제 요래 아래 다 사다 도 뱀보지 소다 젠도 근데 공부께와게 연매 봐서 또 이거 가르치는데 선대 공부도 많이 좀 쳐봐야 봐야나 근데 저봐 다다 이제 제일 제일 저봐 제요 공부 제요 그네 저부터 매 봐서 보고 제도는 계속으로 뭐는 나리 다다해 근데 아무도 그렇게 출발 참아 매봐서 아니 근데 나도 참아 매봐서 유몽 참아 매봐서 그것도 틀어야 돼. 그다 얘는 이제 생각 정도 있지. 아니 생전에도 돈받이도 또 봐야 돼. 아니 참아 아니 지식군들 생각되는 소리요. 생전에도 지구 시소 많이 나. 이 추탐게 더 봐야 있어. 근데 그거에 대해서
And then another example from the guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life, Bodhicharya Avatar, Shantideva said a very good example of how to eliminate afflictive emotion thoughts in a skillful way. He said that if you want to protect your feet from piercing the thorn, if there's a thorn in everywhere, if you put the leather everywhere, then you can't do that. Wherever you go, you have to put that leather in order to protect your feet. But the best thing is that you can have a very good shoes, right? Or maybe in the example itself, it says you can just cover your sole of the shoes by this leather. So that's a very simple and skillful way of how to tackle with the thorn, right? But if you put the leather everywhere, then it's endless. Wherever you go, you have to put all the leather, right? So that's another example, example for eliminating or dispelling the afflictive emotions and thoughts. For example, anger, for example, we all have anger. So nobody can escape anger. So the object of anger, if you find object of anger, then it's innumerable. It's limitless. You cannot control all of them. Even if you sometimes you get angry, to the object of anger would be a stone, would be the earth, soil, some non-living things. You also get angry, right? So it's difficult. It's impossible to eliminate all the objects of anger. But what you can do is you can control your anger from within. Just like here, it cut the implications from within. That's what Milarepa is teaching here.
이제는 노노체 받다가 되는 있습니다. 따와 된다고 그러거나 아니 이야 내로 내가 돈도 양다고 주고 그리스 돈도 주시는 네 소르데 누구 내로 가래 임바이나 내가 돈도 딱 군득 맞아봐 네 돈도 딱 군득에서 아 띵을 받네 근데 선전에 그 추탐제 누구 내로 선전내로 강의 임바데 또 토바데도 돈도 주시는데요 근데 이제 선전내로 돈도 주토바이나 따와 then to the song, to the song. Then with that, send the Nelo the Kari, Imaki. Don't you think the Kakaba Imayana, and the Tawa. Okay, Kader Jetawa Mazaram Senator, send the Nelo, you need to put and get a Tawa. Kader Jetawa Mazaram.
So in the Mahamudra of Ganges of Mahamudra, it is said that once you understand or once you cut the imputations or interpolations of the base. So base or ground here means the very nature of our mind. So if you understand or realize that base or basic nature or the true nature of our mind, that is the confidence of realization of the view. So that is something we need to understand in order to understand the reality, true nature of our mind. So that is what we are talking about, the cutting through the interpolations and exaggerations and so forth. So here Milarepa is saying that, is that not called the view free of extremes, free from all the extremes? So in the Shurabling Institute in India, Shurabling Institute, monastic institute, where there's a dog. And that dog was very wondrous, very wondrous and amazing, you know. The dog is some kind of wondrous in the sense that the dog is something unique, but the dog has no honor. It's just a stray dog who always, you know, stays or sits around the gate of the monastery. So that dog was always there at the monastery, and the dog was there when you know, in the monastery we have that kind of learning system. We have the teachings everyday class. So everyday class from class grade 1 to grade 6, every year the dog would be there outside of the class listening to the teachings, from starting from first grade up until 6th. So the dog, for example, he sometimes maybe he gets hungry, right? So he has to go up on the hill or maybe somewhere far from the class, and in order to get some food. But when the bell rings for the class, he just rush back and to sit there. Really? Yeah, he was really on time, very punctual. And I just jokingly used to say my students, sometimes the dog is better than you all the time. Because they always have some excuses of, you know, not bunking the class and not coming to class on time because of sickness and so forth. So also that dog also received all the 5 great treasuries empowerment given by Sister Rinpoche. Just like us, when the one was finished, he just goes away, and in the morning when one starts, he comes. This is not just made up a story or something like that. It's real. But I told this story because in order to wake you up. And then the last line is about using scripture and reasoning is a great ornament to that, which means it has to be connected with the teachings of the Buddha. Teachings lung here, scripture or the scripture authoritative, which means the teachings of the Buddha itself.
Sentinel and fit and the Tomba Martin, the Pasha was the Sundays to some Mongo. The Tsulnam so Togan say, Tawa to the long Tomba. But young London Mountain Vienna, the Tawa there for young Tawa top down Mountain, and the young go Tidium, being London Tomba, Sunday soon, so the Logan say, but and the Tawa thing for this.
So here it means that whatever the teaching, it should be accord with the teachings of the Buddha. So therefore, lung here means the teachings of Buddha himself. And as it has been mentioned in the King of the Samadhi Sutra, as well as in the Sutra of the Perfection of Wisdom. And there you can see many explanations on the topic of emptiness and so forth. So in order to become a perfect view, we have to teach, or the teaching should be accorded with what Buddha has taught.
The song in by this song shall but there. That's the what to die again, Martin, put using the great thing of fun. Everywhere, and also it is Sunday song is in the Tebacon, which is in the home. Sunday, get up to take it. Then the Sunday, and the Tumbani is what kind of never tended is it, the Milarepa so far down, and it's Sunday, you got the thing you mumbled in the song about your one. Ella, then the young Tumbani thing of the Jitter. And it's Junsin Zan, and it's a what the thing, anything of trouble is. Long than when you got the thing of Papa Payana, and it's our day, honorable, our young tower. And it's our pen, Nishi, get over the one house, on the young thing, see what then the written there were in the chair on that.
The next one is the reasoning, the logical reasoning, which also means the teaching should be accorded with logical reasonings. So one of the unique qualities or features of Buddhist tradition is that not only scripture or not only faith, but also reason. The reasoning is very important. That what Buddha taught, that he said that you have to examine, analyze my teachings. Whatever I taught, you have to examine it first, and then you can take it if it's useful to you. It's not because you respect me. It's not because that you have faith in me, so that you have to take or practice Dharma. It's not like that. But you have to first practice, first examine or analyze yourself, and then you can practice the teachings. So here, the two things: using your scripture and reasoning is the great ornament.
아니 기타인데 동반일이 송해요. 그때 생전에 동반일이 있대로 동세. 그때 때는 바버 세발라. 라고 망보이요. 좀치 망보고요. 되는 때나 다나서지 템버리처 거로 받아서 상담하고 취탐지스. 근데 그 취탐지 동반이 인데 동반이 적고. 좀치 가는 거예요잖아. 취탐지 주진 망보 kel tin song ma dis chitam ji tumba ni indes tin jeng dawan jo yin se se juji mambo tu de ba dis juji mambo tu de ba dis ti tender juji mambo tu de ba yena ko tuni yin ba ga le ni to yo dis na chuji la ranji dembe to ba me ba cha yong ra ba tam juji mambo de ha so ni chuji ko pa mo bo de so the task about the matter about your chit then Koran Maju Raji Demba to Bami Pati. But I think you can of Somondo. The found out Sanjay Son, the Jutsi Mango, the one Sentinel, Tommy, the thing, how over is, then the Bondocho over is, what is on.
So to give an example for the reason here, for example, there are many reasonings, logical reasonings in the treatises. But for example, one of the important reasoning is about the syllogism. The syllogism is about the emptiness, for example. So emptiness is the teaching that Buddha taught. So which becomes scripture or scriptural authority, the transmission of the teachings, right? The teachings taught by the Buddha. And then Ripa, the logical reasoning here means in order to establish the emptiness, you need to apply reasoning. So therefore, reasoning here basically means the interdependent origination, the interdependent arising. So, for example, if you give the syllogism, for example, if you see all the phenomena in this world, samsara, and they beyond this world, in nirvana, they are empty, or they are emptiness. So if then you have to give the reason. The reason should be the dependent arising, and because all the phenomena are dependent each other, dependent arising. So all the phenomena should arise in terms of many causes and conditions. So the collection of those causes and conditions then makes the reason for in order to prove the emptiness. So that's one of the ripa or the syllogism for the logic of reasoning. So therefore, the first thing is the view that we need to establish the view first properly, or the perfect view. Once we understand, we establish the perfect view, then we can go to the next one, which is the meditation itself. Meditation here means to practice that view. And after that, the third one would be the conduct. The conduct here means you have to complete the conduct. You have to complete all the conducts, see, from through relying on the perfect view and the perfect meditation, and then the fruition or the completion of which is the conduct. So in order to understand the meditation, we need to first understand the view. So from understanding the view, which is the view of the true nature of our mind, and then it comes to the next one, we have to look or meditate. So then it will become the perfect meditation. So today we have completed the first view, which is the first ornament, which is the view. That is the such a view. So next one we will finally recite to chant the aspirational prayer of Mahamudra. So the aspiration of the Mahamudra is part of the dedication for today. because we talk about nature of mind. In order to understand the nature of mind, you should feel it, right? You have to experience. You have to understand understand the power of the nature of the mind. So those aspirations and prayers are important part of the practice. And with this, we completed for today's session. And tomorrow we will be continuing our teachings on the ornaments. And if you have time, you can join because it's important to complete all the teachings, all the ornaments, which would be good if you have time. You can come tomorrow. We will continue with this text. And also in the morning, we will be finishing this whole text. And in the afternoon, we will have the feast offering session, which is Dana Chakra of Milarepa. And we all have what we call the 1T talk, which means we receive empowerment and we receive the teachings. And finally, we will also participating in the Dana Chakra, the feast offering, talk offering for tomorrow afternoon. Thank you. 328.
328. Thank you, Rinpoche. We'll see everybody back here at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Thank you for watching.
The clocks go back, right?
Oh, that's another thing. The clock changed tonight. Do everybody know that? What do?
Go back.
They go back. So you get an extra hour.